What does it feel like to be on TRT? I'm sure I'm speaking for pretty much everybody across the board saying this because I'm sure that some things in life, everyone has a different feeling towards it, especially being in love, having your parents, buying your first car, having your first child, all these things. Majority of the people have very different feelings and emotions attached to it. But I can almost guarantee you one thing. When it comes to taking TRT, real TRT, we all feel exactly the same and it's unbelievable. It is one of the best feelings ever. Where do I start? So, first of all, let me just get past this disclaimer. I have to say this every time, TRT is not steroids. Yes, they are the same things technically, but they are very dose dependent. Now, when you are on TRT, what does it feel like? Now, personal opinion, I have been natural for up until I was 22 or 23. I believe I was 23 when I first took steroids, not TRT. And then I'd always do the typical cycle on, cycle off, shows coming up, we'll take some, Ibiza's come in, we'll take some more. Typical everybody else did. You came on for a little bit, you went off for a little bit. You went on for 3 months, you thought, oh, I've been on for 3 months, I need to step off for 2 or 3 months. Then you stepped off for 2 months, you felt shit, you felt horrible, libido was low, health markers were low, nothing was working, everything was just, you were just feeling depressed and shit most of the time. Then you jump back on, you felt superhuman again. And I yo-yoed this thing for a very, very long time. Up until I last did my competition, which was 2016. So that is now, what, 7? What am I on about? My maths is wrong, isn't it? Yeah, 7 years ago. So 7 years ago, I decided to look into this. So I actually flew my ass all the way to America because I heard that's where all the TRT clinics was, and I wanted to learn from the best. Everyone I spoke to in the UK, Dave Crossland does this, Dave Crossland does that. Listen, bro, I ain't taking my advice for my health off some big, ugly motherfucker from Doncaster. Look, I don't know the guy, but I don't want to look like him. I'm not going to take my advice off this guy. He looks like a freak. He looks massive. He didn't look like a powerlifter, nor was he very strong. He didn't look like a bodybuilder. He wasn't in very good shape. He definitely was no athlete. So what was this guy really? All he was just a gear taker, a steadhead, a typical steadhead. That's all he was. So I'm going to take my advice off him. And at that time, 2016, that is all there was. There wasn't very much else available. And JP, trained by JP, was around at that time as well. Do you really... How do I relate to Trained by JP or Dave Crossland? The two at the time best gear informants or experts, medical experts. Believe it or not, these guys were the medical experts on TRT or gear at the time, steroids. There was no TRT, it was just steroids. Searched high and low, couldn't find anybody. So I flew my ass all the way to the States because they are a little bit ahead of us on a lot of things. Flew over there, spoke to many people, got into the right clinics, spoke to them about everything, learned everything I needed to know, got the best help from the best medical professionals in the world. Came back and I was on TRT and I have been on TRT ever since. Now, at first, for every year I was coming off for a month just to clean out the system for no reason whatsoever because it was a stupid thing to do. I cleaned out, and when I did come off for that 1 month, I felt shit. So I knew exactly what it feels like to be on, and I know what it feels like to be off. And when you are on TRT, I can tell you that it feels like you are 20 years old again. Now, when I was 20-year-old, I was walking through walls at 20 years old, I was sleeping 3 hours, up and about, jumping, doing workouts, traveling around the place, flying all over the world, doing all sorts of crazy shit. That's what I was. Now, if you was an active 20-year-old and you don't think your 20s were very productive or very athletic or very active, then maybe it's not going to be the age for you. But I can guarantee you, when you take TRT, you will feel like you are in the best physical performance and mental performance that you're going to get in your life when you take TRT. Not to mention the health markers. Now, when I've been on steroids before, I've been to the juice clinic to get my bloods done, and there was a lot wrong. A lot that you guys don't want to You don't want to like almost believe it because you think, oh, I've got a show coming up, or I still look good. I've got Ibiza coming up. Can I just hang on for a little bit longer? You know, your ALT is out of whack, your AST is out of whack, your hematocrit is out of whack, your red blood cell production is high. You know, all these things, and your ALT, AST, and you just think, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to come off and then I'm going to do the liver cleansing course, or I'm going to take some Tudka, or I'm going to take some milk thistle. You always have this in the back of your mind. Cholesterol's all out of whack, and you think, it's okay, I'm coming off in 6 weeks, I'll sort all this out then. That is the wrong way to go about things. Now, when I started the TRT thing, as I've mentioned in the past videos, all my health markers improve every single time. It's almost as if I'm reverse aging. Every single health marker of mine gets better or gets within range where it should be. I don't know why that is. I do try to, when I'm on TRT, even more so eat healthy, do more cardio. Psychologically, let me tell you what it does psychologically. I've had many clients who have struggled to get out of bed, struggled to go to bed, struggled to wake up with morning wood, struggled to get to work, struggled to push their business, struggled in relationships with their kids, with their family, with anybody. They've struggled with these things because their testosterone is low. The second they jump on a little bit of TRT, every single thing improves. They're waking up stiff as hell. Relationships are good. They start to appreciate their missus a little bit more. They get to play about with their kids a little bit more. They get to go to the gym more with their mates, so their social life's improving. The work business relationships improving. If they've got a business, they're thinking, do you know what? Maybe I can do more. I've got more hours in the day now. Every single thing improves. None of my clients has ever started TRT and thought, Fadi, I feel shit. I want to come off this. No one has ever done that. And if you do it the correct way, when we do the blood work for most clients, it improves for them as well. Why is the blood work? You tell me. Why is the blood work improving on every single client of mine? And one thing I never do it with any client. And you guys, if you're my client, you can please comment down below if you're one of my clients, and you know this is true. I don't take any AIs. Don't take any anti-estrogens. We don't take no Ramapril. And let me tell you something about Ramapril, which is blood pressure medication. Back in the days, I watched a video, and it was of this was actually of JP. And I'm not slating the guy. Well, I do slate the guy because he's an idiot. But I'll tell you why I thought he was even bigger idiot. So he had someone on a heavy course of gear, and the guy's blood pressure was through the roof. And you know what? And we know why his blood pressure was through the roof. His blood pressure was through the roof because he was on too much test. Way too much. More than a gram. He was giving kids a gram at this stage. When you are taking that much gear, your blood pressure is going to be through the roof. Do you know what he did? Take blood pressure medication. He told the client, take blood pressure medication. All that blood pressure medication is doing is bringing down the marker. So when they do the test, when you do your blood pressure monitor, I've got one right here, it just reads better there. It's like if you've got an increased heart rate, take some beta blockers, it'll reduce it. You are causing yourself more harm than good doing that. By just getting a reading, please listen to what I'm going to say now, yeah? If you are just going for a reading, a fake reading, but if you're taking a tablet to bring a reading down, or to bring a marker in check, or to bring a cholesterol in check because you're taking a tablet, you're going about it the wrong way, because you are literally just putting a plaster over a massive leg break. That's all you're doing. All you're trying to do is, let's get this reading down. So much shit is going inside your body you don't even know. You got high blood pressure? Find out why you've got that, rectify it. So with my guys, when they start TRT, I make sure everybody's doing some sort of cardio every single day, some sort of movement. That alone will bring down blood pressure. Now, I'm not going to get into it too much over here, but I don't take no EIs. AIs? Don't take no anti-estrogens. Is that how they're called? And whatever they are. Anyway, it's lost. Someone will comment down below on what that is. When a client is on TRT, just the placebo effect alone, I know it's not a placebo effect in the sense where it's real stuff, you are taking gear, you are on something, automatically, the second you take it, I know it doesn't kick in straight away. Testosterone, low dose, does not kick in straight away. It takes a few weeks, but the fact they've just taken it, the placebo for the first few days or for the first few weeks before it kicks in is there straight away. Mentally, they know they've taken something that's going to make them better. Already they're jumping out of bed. I've had clients say to me on day 2 or day 3, and I know for a fact it's not kicked in, mate, I feel so much better. I woke up with a hard on this morning and I'm like, wow, it's in your head. And it's good that it's in your head. It's good because then when it actually does kick in, when your head kind of slows down in the sense where the placebo effect wears off and the real effect kicks in, the real effect is going to be there for the rest of your life. As long as you are doing this safely, under the right guidance, and I'm going to plug myself over here, link is in the description for my TRT protocol or my consultation call. Get on that, it's very valuable. I'm going to provide you guys with the best advice in that hour or half an hour, depending on what you book. So in closing, I will mention this as well. How does it compare taking steroids to TRT? Now, when I was competing or when I was just started taking steroids just because I wanted to get big, I had that feeling of feeling full and big and round everywhere you walk. So imagine you're in the gym and you get that pump. Imagine having the pump all the time. So when you're on gear, you're technically carrying that pump 24 hours a day. That's all you're doing. Now, how does it differ to TRT? If you do it with the right diet and you do it with the right protocol, not much difference. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say it's exactly the same thing. I'm not saying taking more gear isn't going to be more beneficial if you wanted to add more muscle, if you wanted to get leaner, if you wanted to bodybuild or get stronger. There is a place for that. But if you want to live a healthy lifestyle, TRT is the best thing you want to take. If I was to put like a percentage on it, I would say if you were on a full-blown, I'm talking fully blown gear cycle, ready for competition, 12 weeks at the peak of all the gear taking you're going to be doing, put that at 70%, and I think that's what TRT is. Literally, that is it. And you'll probably, for some people, they'll be taking 1/10 of what they're doing in the steroid cycle. In fact, to be honest with you, even when I was on steroids, I'll tell you a little story actually. When I was on steroids, and I was competing in one of the shows, about 3 weeks out, I was chatting to a friend of mine. He was also competing. Now, he was a bigger guy than me, way bigger than me, at least 10 kilos or more muscle mass. I said, what are you taking? Write it down for me right now. And he wrote down his gear stack for me. And it was 35 mil of liquid. I'm not going to go into the detail of what it was. Maybe that's for another video. 35 mil of liquid. That's exactly what I was taking. Compared to mine, 3 mil of liquid. So he was taking, I was taking 2 compounds at the time. So I was taking test and I was taking EQ and I was doing 0.5 mil jabs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that was 1.5 of EQ, 1.5 of test E, 3 mil a week of total liquid. He was doing 35 mil. I was just as lean as him. Granted, he was bigger. He needed more food. He was training bigger. He was training. I was about the same strength as him because obviously I'm a strong guy for my size. But that just goes to show that sometimes you don't need that much. Now, I am taking like way less than what I was doing for a competition, even though the competition stack was really low. Imagine what these guys, when they do come off and they do go on TRT, what they're going to be taking. And I will still guarantee you, if they do it right, under the right guidance with the right coach, they won't need more than maybe pushing top end 2 mil a week. And that's off like at the start, and then they can slowly taper off down to 1 mil a week. And remember, you don't want to be carrying that kind of muscle mass around. So he's not gonna, this chap in question I'm talking about, he's not gonna be, walking around at that kind of body mass all his life, because that's very unhealthy. It's, a lot of pressure on your heart. I heard something the other day, and I don't even know if this is true. Someone said your heart doesn't know if it's fat or muscle. I don't believe that. I think that's bullshit. I think your heart 100% knows what it's carrying around, whether it's muscle or fat. I think your heart does know that. But I don't want to get into it. It's nothing for me. But the point I'm trying to say is being heavy does have its downfall. TRT, absolutely healthy in the right doses. I can't emphasize enough. I'm not just saying me, guys. I'm not just saying me. I'm an expert in this TRT taking and prescribing. I've done it to many guys. Many other experts out there as well. Pick someone who you trust and follow them. Hopefully this video has brought you guys some value. Please comment down below. I want to hear what you class as a TRT dose and like the video.